Think about this for a second. What if you woke up one day and your job was just gone? But, and here's the twist, so is your rent and your grocery bill. What if a brand new phone costs the same as a bottle of water? I know, it sounds like pure science fiction, but with humanoid robots getting smarter every day, we are being pushed towards some really strange and really important questions about work, value, and what on earth we're all going to do with our time.
So let's paint a picture. Let's say the year is 2040. It's really not that far off. You're waking up, sun's coming through the window. It feels just like any other day. You reach over, you grab your phone, and a notification pops up. But it's not an email from your boss. It's not a news alert. It's something else entirely. The message is incredibly simple. It just says, today's bread is free. Like for everyone in the city. Just free. And you're probably thinking, how is that even possible? Right? Who's paying for all this? And then you see the little line of text right below it, sponsored by Robot Farms. You see, humanoid robots have become so efficient that they planted the wheat, harvested it, baked the bread, and delivered it, and the total cost for them to do that was just a few cents worth of electricity. But this isn't really about free bread, is it? This is about our entire world getting flipped completely upside down. And that whole world turned upside down thing, it all starts with economics. How does a system even get to a point where essential goods are practically free? Well, this brings us to what you could call the Great Price Crash. It really all boils down to one simple but massive question. What happens when the cost of labor, the single biggest expense in making just about everything, gets closer and closer to zero? Well, what happens is that a core economic idea we've lived with for centuries, the labor theory of value, just collapses. The theory is pretty simple. The value of a thing is tied to the human effort it took to make it. But when robots are doing all the work, where's the human effort? It's gone. Let's use a smartphone as an example. Right now, today, a huge chunk of what you pay for that phone is labor. It's the designers, the engineers, the people on the assembly line, the logistics. But in our 2040 scenario, that entire part of the cost is basically wiped out. All you're paying for are the raw materials and a little sip of electricity the robots used. And that means the price of a brand new top-of-the-line phone could absolutely plummet to the same price as a bottle of water. It's a world of almost unbelievable abundance. But, and this is a huge but, it comes with a massive catch. Because if robots are doing all the jobs and goods are dirt cheap, how does anyone actually make money to buy anything, even the cheap stuff? This forces us to completely rethink our entire social contract. And that leads us right into the central paradox of this whole future. Is a world where everything is cheap a paradise? If you have no salary? I mean, you can't buy a $1 phone if you don't have $1. So how do you solve that? The solution that gets talked about the most is Universal Basic Income, or UBI. The idea is pretty simple, even if it sounds radical. Everybody gets a regular paycheck from the government, just for being alive, enough to cover all the basics in this new, low-cost world. This just completely reframes our entire concept of income. As this quote gets at, it's no longer compensation for work you've done. It's more like a survival dividend. In a way, your new job is just to exist, to participate in society, and to keep that new economic engine running. Okay, but you're probably already asking the next big question. If most people aren't working, that means there's no income tax to collect. So where in the world would a government get the trillions of dollars needed to fund UBI for an entire country? While the answer might be something called a robot tax, the logic here is actually really straightforward. Since the robots have taken over all the productive work in society, we tax their output. The massive wealth generated by all those machines is then collected and redistributed to support the human population. The robots that took your job are now the ones paying your bills. So let's say we've got that sorted out. Our basic needs are now met by a robot tax funding our UBI. The whole equation of what makes a human valuable changes. This isn't just about economics anymore. It's a fundamental shift in what it means to be valuable as a person. You might see a new kind of social structure emerge, maybe a pretty stark one. On one side, you'll have the owners of the robot assets, the people and companies who control the machines and wield incredible economic power. And on the other side, you'll have people who find a new kind of currency in providing something robots just can't: genuine, messy, human emotional value. Let me put it this way. A robot can bake 1,000,000 loaves of bread, and every single one is technically perfect. A flawless Michelin star product made with maximum efficiency for almost no cost at all. But then you've got the bread that your grandmother makes. The dough is kneaded by hands, maybe one side's a little bit more burnt than the other. It's imperfect. And in a world of robotic perfection, that imperfection is exactly what makes it priceless. It has a story. It has a human touch. That becomes the new luxury.
And all of this leads to the biggest, most profound question of all. If your survival is guaranteed and your economic contribution is no longer needed, what do you become? Who are you?
The optimistic take is that this could kick off a second renaissance. Seriously, when all of humanity is freed from the daily grind of just working to survive, we could see an explosion of creativity, art, science, and exploration that would make history.
Our main identities might not be accountant or welder anymore. Instead, we could start defining ourselves as artists, creating for the pure joy of it, or as players, building and exploring incredible virtual worlds. We could be companions, providing empathy and connection, or explorers, pushing the boundaries of human knowledge out into the cosmos. So that brings us to the final question, and this one's personal. It's easy to talk about all this stuff in the abstract, but just think about it for yourself right now. If you woke up tomorrow and you knew for a fact that all your basic needs were met for the rest of your life, what would you actually do? What would be the very first thing you do tomorrow morning?